over to you, okay? All right, I think that's it. I think we are actually live right now, Coach. Just give me a few minutes here. I want to take a chance to tell everybody what's going on. This is NEKY Now Live. NEKY stands for Northeastern Kentucky. And I'd like to thank everybody. We're live from our Facebook page. We've received over 300 page likes in less than a month. Also ask you to join us over at NEKY Neighbors, the Facebook group. That's where all the fun's happening. We've got 333 members already as of this morning, mostly from Lewis County, but we're looking to expand into the whole corridor up and down the river there, all the northeastern Kentucky counties, from Lawrence County all the way up eventually to Pendleton County in northern Kentucky. Our website's located at nekynow.com, and there you'll find community resources, a calendar of events. Doesn't have anything on it right now, but we're hoping to populate that as we get through the virus and everything. And then you'll also find, I call it a good news blog. It's kind of local stories and posts, and to do so we can do things of this nature and like get to know our new football coach. So let's turn it over to I want to introduce the man of the hour right now, our new head football coach at Lewis County High School. His name is Bryan Hoover. Bryan, thanks for coming on. I can't really appreciate your time this morning, Coach. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, no problem, Mr. Holder. The hardest thing was getting the kids cleared out this early, so I had some free time.
I hear you. I think right now it's only me and the dog up right now. I don't know. My wife be maybe taking a shower, but we're in the other room here. We're good to go. I just thought this would be a good chance for you to come on and get people, give people a chance to get to know you. And so let's just start off, Coach. Tell us what's your background. Where'd you grow up and go to school, and where do you live now?
So I grew up in Stuyvesant, Ohio. I lived there my whole life. My mom, one of 6 kids, so big family. I went to Notre Dame High School in Portsmouth, private Catholic school. Explains the big family, Irish Catholics. But then I transferred to Stuyvesant East my junior year of high school, and that's where I graduated from. And right now we live in Wheelersburg, Ohio.
Okay. Now, are you the oldest or youngest or
I'm second?
Second. Okay, I'm the youngest of 6, so I know all about the big family part. It's fun when we all get together, right?
Oh yeah.
Right, that's a good time. All right. So now you said, let's see. How about your family? Are you married, and do you have any children?
I am. I'm married. My wife's name is Kaylin. She is a nurse at SOMC. And I've got 2 boys. Race, he is 9, almost 10, and Grayson, he is 3.
All right.
Likely will make an appearance here in a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely, no problem. That'd be great. Now I want to tell your wife thank you. She's on the front lines, and those are our heroes these days. So you pass that along to her, and we appreciate her going to work every day and know that's that's not just showing up for your 9 to 5 right now. These days, there's a little bit different from it. So let's go ahead and talk about that, Coach. The virus has hit just as soon as you accepted your position, just about, wasn't it? Couldn't have been worse timing.
A week after the school shutdown began. So
yeah,
we didn't really know the extent that we were going to be. I thought maybe we were going to miss a couple weeks of school here and there. No one really knew what was going to happen. So yeah, I was right the week of the school shutdown.
Yeah, that's tough. So spring football's been wiped out, but I've seen you kind of make accommodations. You've put some online drills up, and it looks like you've been doing some live events and trying to stay in contact with your parents and your players. Is that what's been going on your end? How have you tried to deal with that?
You just kind of have to get creative and kind of do what you can right now. Of course, everyone's main goal is just to stay safe and keep everyone safe. But right now, most people are just sitting at home, twiddling their thumbs, and that's kind of, I'm fortunate to where I'm working from home now.
Right.
I'm an intervention specialist at Lawrence County Joint Vocational School.
Okay,
so,
excellent, good.
I get to contact my kids digitally and over the phone and just do wellness checks mostly.
Okay.
But other than that, for the large portion of my day, I'm just stuck sitting inside with 2 young kids. So we've got to, we've got to find ways to be active and be creative. And that's kind of where I drew the motivation to try to reach out to the kids, because, a lot of them are in the same boat that my kids are in. They're used to being able to go out and do everything that they want to do. And, to be limited to such small activity or such small things and such small groups, it's tough. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, maybe this will maybe want to make them want to put down the video game controllers for a little bit. I think
a little bit.
they might be burnt out by the time summer rolls around.
Right.
So come out and run around on the football field.
And then you've also, let's go ahead and mention, you kind of pivoted on your fundraiser there. I saw a post the other day where you're selling masks with the logo on it, and I thought that was a really neat, opportunity to stay safe, but make a little money for the kids at the same time.
Right. And that's what it is. It's about making money for the kids. I know masks probably aren't going to be the most popular thing. Everyone's kind of got, you're either way over here or way over here with your opinion on that. So
seems like it.
At the end of the day, you're not necessarily buying a product. You're donating money to kids.
Right.
And that's kind of what I want to get across to people is, whether you stand in, I'm never wearing a mask, or whether you think, it's necessary to be safe. It's not about the product you're buying. It's you're fundraising for the kids. And, any other situation, we'd be out in the community washing cars or going door to door. But, we're in the climate we're in. We can only do so much. So
that's right.
I just want the kids to be able to have all the equipment they need. I want to be able to give them 5-6 t-shirts or whatever, just as a little bit of compensation for their time and effort. But, we need money to be able to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
A little bit of swag goes a long way sometimes with the kids. That's exactly right. Now let's get into your football experience. What's your background there? Where have you played? And then where have you been coaching here lately?
So my career kind of took off my junior year of high school. It was at Sodaville East. I had a 1,900-yard rushing season, I believe.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And that's kind of when, the attention came in from the next level. Went to a few Nike-sponsored camps. I don't like to advertise it because this is something people brag about all the time, and there's no way to back it up anymore. But I ran a 4.36 at the Nike, combine there in Columbus. So that
turned some heads.
Right. Attention started. But, at that point I was 5'9", 170 pounds. So,
soaking wet.
I didn't have any of those going on.
Wow.
Back then. But, so that's, I ended up at a small school, High Westland. I was always an academic person first. So I believe in being a student and then an athlete. So I went to a academic school, High Westland. And also I've always been on the field. I didn't want to go sit somewhere. So, I wanted to be big fish, small pond as opposed to the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
So I played there as a freshman, started. I believe I was freshman all conference, had a good year there. It was fun. I enjoyed the experience. Moved on to Syracuse after that the next year. Coach Marone and Coach Tyrone Wheatley was the running back coach. And they never really broke contact even after I'd already spent a year in college. They kind of treated it as a junior college situation.
Okay. Neat.
And then, once I was up there, I got through spring and summer, my first year up there. And that is, I found out I was going to be a dad to my oldest. So
oh, wow. All right.
I was
you
living
got thrown
in
a curveball.
right. I was living in upper New York, and my boy was going to be in Southern Ohio, so I had to make a choice, and it's one I'd make every time. So moved back home and took care of my boy, and here we are. But that's something I use life lessons, to teach the kids. Being a young dad really taught me a lot, made me grow up real quick. So I always fall back on that and use that as a big teaching point to the kids.
Now, what about your coaching? When did you get into coaching?
I got back around football almost immediately. But having to be a family man, I had to, my priorities had to kind of shift.
A lot of time there.
So I would volunteer around a lot. I'd go talk to kids. I'd help in the weight room, and I would help with the off-season programs. It wasn't until 4 or 5 years ago, where I went back to Stuyvesant, and they finally persuaded me to, commit to doing the full-time coaching.
Right.
Where I stepped right in as the defensive coordinator, and was 2 years there. We only lost one regular season game.
Wow.
Had a playoff victory. I averaged all the numbers up from my resume. We had a very good defense. And
Nice.
I would love to take all the credit in the world for that, but we had a very talented class.
Right.
That was Blaine Scott's team. He's playing at West Virginia. He'll probably start next
cool.
year.
Neat.
2 other kids, or I think 3 other kids, are playing small Division I ball.
Good.
So anytime you have that many talented kids on a small school team, you better be good or something's wrong.
You can put one on the left side of the field, one on the right, and one in the middle.
Right.
It should be good on defense there.
And then following that, I went with the same coaching staff up to South Point, Ohio, in Lawrence County, and that was a rebuild project for sure. The year before we took over, they had 13 kids on their roster, and they're playing Ironton, Gallia, Colgrove. They're playing some pretty tough football over there. And last year we left. There was 45 kids on the roster.
Well, great.
And we were really starting to compete. We only won one game out of the 2 years over there, but there wasn't a week that we played where coaches would come and say, we've actually got to prepare for South Point now.
There you go.
This isn't just a bye
That's
week.
progress. That's right. Yeah. Some of those I've lived through some of those with Coach Prater. When he was hired, we struggled through some tough years. Those 1 win years are tough, but you still, football's football, and you bond with your teammates. And when I see those guys today, you'd have thought we'd won 10 or 12 games. The win-loss record doesn't matter. It's the memories that stick with you. And then we could kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. And by our senior year, it kind of all came together. It takes a while to piece that together. Sometimes you don't always hit the ground running. Sometimes you got to build the foundation up and put the pieces in. And especially with football, I think it's more so like that than any other sport. Now, let's talk a little bit. What attracted you to the Lewis County to apply for the head football coach position?
Well, to apply for it, I'd never been. I think my experience with Vanceburg was driving through the AA to get to Cincinnati.
Oh yeah.
So I had never been down there aside from just driving by. A good friend of mine that I coached with at South Point, his name is Jay Hale. He taught at Lewis County for a few years. And,
right.
Now he's at Ashland. And he really encouraged me to give it a hard look. So, I threw my name in the hat there, and kind of everything started happening. So hiring a football coach kind of went to the back burner for everyone. So I didn't hear back for a little while, and I took some other calls for other coaching jobs.
Right.
It seemed like all the interviews and all the job offers came flooding at once. So, when I went down to Lewis County to talk to Mr. Likens, Mr. Hampton, Bill Tom, Bub, and all those guys, they really sold me on the school, on the community, and on the kids. And that's what it was for me, because, this is somewhere that I'm going to bring my family down to, send my kids to school, and want to be for a long time. It's not just a stop.
Excellent.
It's somewhere I want to. So that was more of, I looked at it, the community and the people there, what brought me down to Vanceburg. And, it hasn't stopped since that day. I've been really excited with the community. They've been so supportive. And that's, football is secondary to a lot of things. Family and community is one of them. So that was the deciding factor there.
Neat. All right. Well, let's do something fun here, Coach. We're going to let's get to a little rapid fire here, and got a little graphic there. Look at us, all professional, and so we'll go real quick. A couple of questions here to pick your brain, and you don't have to give a long answer on any of these. You can expound on them if you want to. But first one I've got: are you a Browns or a Bengals fan?
I'm not much of an NFL guy, but
Okay.
if I had to pick between the two, I'd go Browns.
Browns. All right. Something happens when you guys get across the river up there. We're all Bengals fans on this part, mostly. I shouldn't say all of us, and it's not an easy life, and it's like it's kind of a rite of passage. Oh, I got to root for the Bengals, but well, here's my next rapid fire. How about Joe Burrow? What'd you think about that pick?
I love Joe Burrow. He's
Yeah.
the attitude and moxie he plays with. I got to meet him in Athens one time. He's a great
Oh,
kid.
neat.
Yeah, I love Joe Burrow.
Good deal. All right. Tiger King or Lion King?
Lion King. I still haven't watched Tiger King. I watched Lion King 7 times a day with my kids. I still haven't watched Tiger King.
There you go. You're not missing anything, and you do not want to watch it with the kids in the room. So, yeah, Lion King, definitely. All right, now we know you love football, but if you had to choose between baseball and basketball, which is your most favorite second sport there?
I'd say baseball. Hang out with the boys. Just kind of chill out and play baseball.
My son will appreciate that answer, Coach. So let's get those boys ready. We can use some help there. All right. Spend some time at Syracuse. Jim Brown or Ernie Davis?
It's got to be Jim Brown.
That's what I think.
He's the best player ever.
And he kind of came first, didn't he? I think Ernie Davis came after him. And man, when you go throw the tape on Jim Brown, I mean, even today, he's just a man among boys. I always thought he was fun to watch. My dad always liked talking about him. What's your favorite all-time movie?
Varsity Blues.
There you go. Favorite all-time book?
I'll throw it to probably Letters to a Young Poet, Rainier Rilke.
Oh, neat. All right. Good deal. All right. This one's a little personal, Coach. What's your middle name?
Douglas.
All right. That's not too bad. All right. You survived, Coach. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. I just want to tell you thank you for coming on here. Now, we're going to do this weekly. You up for that? You game for that? We'll come on and do this every morning and pick your brain, see what's going on with Lewis County football. You all right with that?
It should be fun. I just kind of got a dirty look across the room. So, about getting the kids, cleared for 10 minutes.
Hey, they can brush their teeth as we talk. No problem whatsoever. We understand that.
I think we'll make it work. Buy a mask. Support the football team. Everyone buy a mask.
There you go. We can get to those. There's a link on our website. If you'll click on the Coach Hoover article, there's a link in there to the Lewis County Football Facebook page, right? Give you more information about that, and then hit up one of the players. Email Coach Hoover, bhoove3@gmail.com. Is that okay to throw that out there?
Mm-hmm.
And so you can get in contact with Coach Hoover if you got any questions or want to order a mask, support the program. Coach, thanks for coming on. Good luck to you with the program. We're excited to have you in our community, and look forward to giving you some support.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Holder. I appreciate having me on.
All right. Take care.